So Chris is going to have a chat to us today about the all or nothing approach. He's going to give us his 6 tips, I guess, to overcoming, you know, the up and down that people go through, and, you know, the waiting to start until Monday or the next month. So he's got a few tips that he's going to share, which helps him make sure that, you know, if he has a bad meal, that he can get back on track the next meal, or if he has a bad week, or goes on holidays, then it's not going to negate his results or anything. So the first thing he's going to speak about is obviously making sure that he gets 80 to 90% correct with all of his meals throughout an entire week.
So basically the reason why I choose 80 to 90% correct of a week from all my meals is the fact that if I do have something that maybe not optimal or so-called bad, it's still going to be acceptable to keep me compliant in regards to the mental aspect of trying to be so strict all the time. And the more strict you are and the less deprived you feel, eventually the worse choices you're going to make consistently. So again, the reason, as I was saying, why I have the 80 to 90% compliance is so that you've got a mental de-stress, so then you feel like you're not having to go on a so-called diet, and it's a lot easier to maintain your consistent results moving forward.
Yeah, cool. The next thing is obviously trying to compare yourself to your, say, previous 3 months, so where you currently are to, say, the last 3 months? Definitely.
So a good thing that, again, I like to do is obviously monitor my training, nutrition, monitor my results, and things like that. So if your nutrition hasn't been great and you beat yourself up all the time over, you know, oh, the weekend's not good or whatever that may be, recheck all that. And then even if you've had, say, a bad couple of weeks of eating or training, recheck where you're at compared to what you were 3 months ago, and 90% of the time you're going to be ahead of where you were, even though you may feel at that direct time that you could have done better. So always compare yourself with where you're currently at and where you've been, and then also where you're going to as well, to make everything a better perspective for yourself.
And not to anyone else, only yourself.
Correct.
Okay, so I think, you know, obviously people stuff up and have a bad meal and then they wait till Monday. I think Monday's a really big day because people think it's the start of the week, it's a brand new week. Yeah. But how detrimental is that, obviously, for people wanting to get results?
Yeah. So if you make mistakes on the weekend, and basically what happens if you continually make mistakes in a particular time of the week, or if you go to, say, a restaurant on the weekend, eventually that's going to become a habit, and that's going to continually happen without you realizing. So instead of, you know, accepting the weekend as, well, the weekend's coming, you know, I'm going to make mistakes, identify the mistakes that you've made. As soon as you've done that, acknowledge that they're not as great a choices as what you could make. Stop there, and then once you've identified that, get back onto the bandwagon again, coming back to 80-90% of the week, which is going to be correct. You know, as what Travis says as well, if your total weekend is incorrect, that's way more than, you know, getting, you know, 20 to 10% wrong. So that's why if you're having, say, a bad day or a bad week, just try and be aware and identify that as soon as it happens, so then from there you can continue on moving forward.
Yeah, cool. And then what about, you know, obviously say no, because it's a big thing people have, you know, birthday parties and work functions, and even just work teachers, you know,
everyone in general, really, yeah.
There's biscuits and cakes at morning tea. So I guess, what should people do in that regard?
Yeah, so, you know, one thing again that a lot of people, or I've noticed, that face as well, and for me, myself, when I did bodybuilding for 8 years, it did become automatic in regards to saying no, because I put myself first. Okay, so when I put myself first, I knew what I had to do, and I knew what I had to do to get the results that I was trying to achieve. And that means, unfortunately, having to put yourself first, which I shouldn't say really unfortunately, because the better you feel, again, it's going to make everyone around you feel better and want to be around you as well. So learning to say no may be a bit confronting at the start, because it may, you know, make it feel like you're either arrogant, or you're, you know, not sociable, or, you know, people are not going to like you. When you say no, people are going to actually be more inclined to, you know, get used to you saying that and not feel, and make you not feel like you're pressured into making, poor choices as well. So again, if you put yourself first, if you can help yourself, you've got more chance, and it is easy to help other people around you as well in general life.
Cool. And then what about, like, is there any sort of supplements that we could maybe incorporate into our diet or into our nutrition to maybe help us not have these cravings or make us stay on track a little bit better?
Yeah, definitely. So as what Travis and everyone at MPT has spoken before, obviously you do have black coffee around mealtime as well, can help that. Also, again, cinnamon is really, really great. If you are going to have I guess you could say, a cheat meal on a steak or whatever you want to call it, utilizing maybe cinnamon with that can help lower blood sugar as well, which means you've got more chance to not store it as fat. Also, pretty cool supplementation you can use, which is a tablet, which is alpha lipoic acid as well, which actually helps drive nutrients into the muscle cells rather than letting your body actually preferably draw it into fat cells as well. So definitely having alpha lipoic acid or ALA with meals can actually promote greater food disposal to the right area.
Cool. Alright guys, so hopefully you got some tips off Chris with I guess some things that you can do to sort of combat this scenario. If you do have any other questions, feel free to send us a message or just comment on this post if there's anything else that you're sort of struggling with. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you. Okay.